Your Excellency, successive achievements have been recorded towards the successful implementation of this legislation that is critical to the life and development of Sokoto State, which includes temporary relocation of Sokoto Revenue Service offices to a new imposing complex and fitting them with all the required accessories that are of world-class standard. Appointment of substantive executive chairman and 4 executive directors in charge of revenue operations, standards and compliance, corporate services, and legal services. Also, Your Excellency, with your permission, there was a recruitment of over 40 young and upward mobile staff through a meticulous and competitive process that led to the selection of the best hands to run the new revenue service. Your Excellency, there is also the deployment and the launch of the state's IGR portal, which we call the ETAS, for the billing and collection of all revenue accrued to all MDAs in Sokoto State. Your Excellency, there is also the provision which you made available to the service, which include but not limited to over 40 desktop and laptop computers, printers, photocopiers, and scanners. Your Excellency, you also approved the facilitation of mobility through the provision of 4 cars and 10 motorcycles for the new internal revenue service. Your Excellency, sensitization of the public through various meetings and engagements, including several radio jingles, TV programs, and stakeholder meetings, has taken place. Provision of a take-off grant to the service has also been approved, which enhances its ability to meet all its obligations effectively and efficiently in the delivery of service to taxpayers. Your Excellency, it will interest you to note we have a regular monthly performance meeting instituted and chaired by my humble self, with Ministry of Finance, Permanent Secretary, Accountant General, and other directors, with the Board of Internal Revenue Chairman and all executive directors, and this has been consistent on a monthly basis to review our performances. Your Excellency, as all logistics and other forms of support required by the service are being provided by the state government, failure to perform is not justified and not an option. These changes have had a tremendous positive impact on the performance of Sokoto Internal Revenue Service, which is evident in the first quarter report of the service. Over 3.7 billion was generated within the period, indicating over 50% growth in collections. Similarly, the previous manual tax register, Your Excellency, which had a little over 100 corporate tax registered organizations in Sokoto, as of today, Your Excellency, is over 2,000 registered corporate bodies in Sokoto State. Your Excellency, through this trial, it will interest you to know that in Sokoto State, we have 241 private tertiary, secondary, and primary schools, all private in Sokoto State, through this harmonization that we've been able to achieve in the last 3 months. And Your Excellency, these 2,000 are classified into the financial, institutional, health, and education sectors. Automation has also enhanced planning, monitoring, analysis, and enforcement, but above all, is been able to make data available for not only finance, internal revenue, but the state in general. Your Excellency, once again, it will interest you to know that the government tertiary institutions collections are now solely managed and handled by the Revenue Service through an automated platform that captures the entire collections, which are weekly split into percentages between the state and the schools. Your Excellency, in the next couple of minutes, you will see what the tertiary institutions are getting on a weekly basis and how the split is being done on real time. And I think with this one, it's a matter of time. The tertiary institutions in Sokoto State will not be having surplus budgets if we go by this transparency government. Your Excellency, taxpayers are now more aware of their obligations to the Revenue Service. This is made possible by over 200 million tax liabilities already served on taxpayers between January and March through a rigorous review of annual returns submitted in January 2021 by the taxpayers themselves, and audit of compliance by the service. The process is ongoing and inshallah it will be sustained. The introduction of the consolidated demand notice, Your Excellency, I think is the biggest catch in this, where all corporate bodies in Sokoto State will not be having individual MDs sending a demand notice to them on an annual or weekly or monthly basis. With this drive, Your Excellency, with the data at hand, with everybody's collaboration here, the Revenue Service has the capacity and the ability, which Your Excellency can see on the screen. This is the consolidated tax demand from Internal Revenue Service, where the Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Education, of course, can make all their submissions on one notice to whichever MBO, whichever public body is expected to pay its revenue, inshallah. And that is what we call the real ease of doing business without suffering anybody with any kind of business in Sokoto that has to listen to more than one government agency. I think with this, God willing, all that will be abolished and you are responsible to only one agency of all your taxes on an annual basis. Your Excellency, this will provide a tool that will further enhance tax efficiency in several ways that include blocking of leakages, real-time monitoring of paid and unpaid bills, transparency through visibility and clarity to all stakeholders. It will ensure accountability, enhancing ease of doing business in the state by stopping the issuance of multiple bills to businesses. Taxpayers profiling has been done to identify taxpayers in Sokoto State, and a machinery has been put in place to enhance and sustain compliance. With the introduction of the e-tax portal, efficiency in collection has greatly been enhanced. Now taxpayers can pay their taxes and all government MPA bills from the comfort of their home and be immediately issued an automated receipt. The Revenue Service is now more than ever positioned to generate sufficient revenue to service, inshallah, not only our wage bill, but our demands in the near future, inshallah, Your Excellencies. The Sokoto Internal Revenue Service has implemented the contributory pension scheme. Your Excellency, by contributing into the contributory pension scheme, Sokoto State is now positioned to get a better facility in the near future. Your Excellency, you signed the law in 2016, and only Internal Revenue Service has now taken that. By the law, we are at liberty since the state has signed into the law. Inshallah, Your Excellency, with this platform, with the trillions that the federal government has for pension, once we get, I think, a certain number of months or a year into this scheme, we should be able to have a facility loan for 30 years, as the case may be, which is by far better than whatever we have at the moment. So gradually, inshallah, we are getting into where anything that is possible in Nigeria can be found here in Sokoto State. Your Excellency, our prayers here, together with myself and my colleagues from the Internal Revenue Service, is that this giant strides will further advance by additional and complementary measures, which the Revenue Service look forward to being implemented. Number one, Your Excellency, is the full and total implementation of Section 93 of Sokoto State Revenue Integration and Consolidation Law 2019, which vests the sole authority for collection and of accounting of all taxes, levies, fees, charges, and rates collected in the state and local government in the state Internal Revenue Service. At this point in time, let me take a little bit of your time, Your Excellency, to highlight that there's been a thorough consultation between the Revenue Service and the Ministry of Local Government. A couple of months back, they had a proper sensitization led by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, sir, which he summoned all the secretaries of the local government, and they bought into this, but there's a continuous sensitization between the Revenue Board and the local government. And in due course, now that we have established council chairman, I think, Your Excellency, maybe the board needs to call them again to integrate them further, so that inshallah by end of second quarter, we should have full integration between the state and the local government. Continuation, Your Excellency, the Executive Directive on the full implementation of Section 5.1 of the Sokoto State Revenue Integration and Consolidation Law, which prohibits the collection of cash in all MDs. Your Excellency, before us are platforms that the Revenue Service has made available with its own staff to be in all revenue-generating agencies so that they can seamlessly synchronize all payments that before now are done in the MDAs, so that the state government's revenue can come directly into the coffers of the states. And whoever has an approval to have part of that revenue that is being collected from the MDA, the Revenue Service has the platform to instantly give him the percentage that has been approved by His Excellency. The whole idea is whatever is due to the government is seen, and we all know the advantage of all revenue captured, revenue seen. For example, I think a lot of us have seen the results that came out from the National Bureau of Statistics last week, which Sokoto was number 25 or thereabout in terms of revenue generation. It's not surprising because in 2020, His Excellency approved a total stoppage of revenue collection because of COVID-19. A couple of states stopped it, but they did not stop it in general. Sokoto State is one of the few states that gave the room for all businesses not to pay any tax because of the impact of COVID-19. But inshallah, going forward, Your Excellency, we expect Sokoto to be top 3, and I assure you this time next year, we'll be here telling you that Sokoto is among the top 3. Your Excellency, all revenue generating agencies to issue their bills through the state internal revenue portal has been made available, which is the e-tax. That is, collection should be done through the platform on the web, the bank, or the POS. All these platforms, we have well-trained, well-manned revenue service staff that have been trained, have been grouped. All they expect, Your Excellency, is deployment. If they are deployed today, they can start rendering the service with immediate effect because they have all the equipment and all the necessary training to achieve this. And going forward, Your Excellency, manual receipts should no longer be issued. All receipts should be issued by e-tax. Like I said, the platform has been made available with regards to the MDAs to achieve all that I mentioned. Finally, Your Excellency, all MDAs should insist on the Sokoto State tax identification number and tax clearance. Your Excellency, what we are having not only for revenue collection, but for data collection for security, we need to have team numbers of people that are doing businesses in Sokoto. They should be synchronized so that in case anything happens, from the click of a button, the state government can have an idea of what this particular agency or which company or whatever is question for this team number is rendering to the states. And finally, Your Excellency, the tax clearance presentation that has presentation that we expect the revenue to be issued out before dealing with organizations and persons of taxable age in Sokoto State. I think, Your Excellency, MDAs should insist from using this because this is the sole responsibility of Section 33 of the Sokoto Internal Revenue Service. And I think on this note, Your Excellency, I would like, with your kind permission, to give the chairman so that you can have a bit of a technical view of what is going on a daily basis in the Internal Revenue Service with regards to 3 issues, which is the tertiary institutions, which we have their real-time payment, what they have been getting in the last couple of months, how the split is being done, what comes to government, what goes to them. Then